Good evening. From the very beginning of this journey, the person who came and stood and actually led us was Debbie Barratt-Cole. Many of you will remember Debbie Cole bravely standing in the council chamber and continuing to take the fight to the corrupt council. Sean Fielding, Paul Bentwistle, Dr. Carolyn Wilkins, Jim McMAHON, Debbie Abrams. As a consequence of her efforts, Debbie has been hounded and harassed repeatedly, and the attack dogs have gone after her. In the council meeting itself, when she refused to back down because she wanted to know what we all now know is true, Councillor Saeed Mushtaq immediately referenced her as a racist. And as the coward he is, he referenced her as a racist as she was leaving from the safety and protection of his council seat. And so, from that moment, the narrative was set. And this poor, and I'm not going to paint her as a victim, because she isn't a victim. She's a fighter, she's a warrior, and she's protected this town. But nonetheless, the facts are, she is a disabled grandmother. And this disabled grandmother has been hounded, harassed and attacked. All of you, many of you, put together and had money put together for CCTV to be put into our house. But unfortunately, it wasn't enough. Debbie desperately went to the police, repeatedly went to the police. Yet going to the police as a victim, we saw the police attend Debbie's home several times. Multiple police officers found the time to attend our house. Police officers gave evidence against her on a civil matter, led by Oldham Council, allegedly, if you believe the Freedom of Information request, on behalf of the residents of Failsworth. No. Sean Fielding is a disgraceful man. And alongside him, now we see it isn't just a council who do his bidding and cover up for his crimes. The police behave in a style reminiscent of the stormtroopers from the early era when Adolf Hitler first came to power. This is no exaggeration. This is how I see events playing out. And unfortunately, it's left its toll on Debbie. And Debbie and I have been speaking for a month or so. And she feels now is a time where she needs to come forward and share her story. So this is why we are here this evening. Thank you very, very much to the 125 of you I see on my screen. Maybe Neil Wilby and Sean Fielding and Jim McMahon will hunt all of you down as well. And maybe write letters to your employers, or send the goons round to intimidate you, or send the police over. This is a disgraceful turn of events. Let me ring Debbie on. Good evening, Debbie.
Good evening, Roger.
Debbie, just give me 1 second. I don't need to be on the screen with you. I'm going to put you on full screen, Debbie. So just give me 1 second. Here you
That's
go.
Scary.
Debbie, tell me what's going on. In fact, tell the people of Oldham what is going on.
Well, I've got some really sad news, actually, and people need to understand that what I've had to do has not been something that's been thought of on a whim. I've had to think about it long and hard about what I've had to do. And unfortunately, because I personally have not felt safe and secure, I've moved out of Oldham.
Okay, Debbie. So, you're let's be clear. You have had to flee for your life, as you see it. The police failed to protect you. In fact, how many times have you contacted the police, Debbie, with a request to arrest these people or at least interview these people? They haven't done it a single time, have they?
No. I've written to, I've emailed the police and been on telephone conversations regarding Greater Manchester Police, regarding some of the things that's been happening towards myself, and resulting in what happened last week as well, especially what happened last week, has confirmed to me actually that I've done the right thing in moving, because Greater Manchester Police are not going to protect me, unfortunately. And that's very obvious now that Greater Manchester Police work for the politicians. So, yeah, I've had to move for my safety, and I've had to move rather quickly, and an opportunity came up and I have taken that opportunity and I've moved out of Oldham.
Yeah.
I've left everything behind. My family, my friends, everything. All the people of Oldham. I lived in Oldham all my life. I've lived in Medlock Vale all my life, and I've had to move. And I'm absolutely heartbroken. And I'll be honest, I feel like I've abandoned you all, and I haven't, because I'm still very much part of proud of Oldham and Saddleworth, and I'm still very proud of the fact that in August 2019 I opened a group on Facebook called Oldham Together, and I'm very proud that we've got over between Oldham Together and Proud of Oldham and Saddleworth, we've got over 14,000 people now that are aware of what's going on in the town. But my situation, all because I wanted to ask one question at Oldham Council offices, has resulted in I've had threats, I've had emails, and I've had people saying not nice things to me, and I've had to take action on that. So I've moved out of Oldham.
Let me give it some context to the people who have joined us today, Debbie. And there's over 100 people listening as we talk to each other. What's took place is, as a consequence of you standing up against this corrupt council, the council has not only mobilised all of its legal and semi-legal resources available to them to harass you, such as the police and whatnot. What's also took place is, of course, Arud Shah's childhood friend has launched a campaign against you, a campaign referring to you as a racist, and shared that on a whole host of Muslim groups across the country with your photograph and reference to who you are and all of it, and what's took place is he has been inciting people. Now, Irish IMY is not a politician. However, when he makes these comments, everyone knows it's not really just him making these comments. His childhood friend, Arud Shah, is not far away from any of this. And also, the MP for Royton West, Oldham West and Royton, Jim McMahon, provides Irish IMY with a platform on his Facebook page.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, so he legitimizes and encourages what he says. I'm going to put something up now, so to share on the right-hand side, and people can see this is an Irish IMY post, and this started on October 2020, or actually earlier, but here's a very clear post. So it's election time again for some, and Debbie, the racist Barratt-Cole, feels she is worthy candidate for the good people of Oldham. I can't believe this individual actually thinks she's appropriate to stand for elected office. I'd respect her more if she stood up and owned up, and I've not commented, but he goes on to saying, that you're a racist, yeah? And then he shared this and a whole host of other posts with the endorsement of a number of Labour Party politicians, senior Labour Party politicians. And, you know, alongside that, you've got that lunatic Wilby encouraging anyone and everyone not just to attack you, but to attack many of the people who I see on the comments page on the left of me here. And you're scared. And you're rightfully scared. You've got grandchildren. Your children have had conversations with you about how what you are doing is meaning putting your grandchildren at risk and them at risk. And the consequence of this, Debbie, is you've had to flee for your life.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had to move. Mr. IMY is with what he's done, sharing my face, and as you can see, I'm stood outside my house. That photograph was taken on when we all went out clapped on a Thursday evening for the NHS staff. And Mr. IMY has decided that he's just targeting me. He's not targeting the Pride of Oldham and Saddleworth. He's not targeting any of that. It's just me that he's decided to target. And
it's because you stood up. It's because you stood up in that council chamber and you exposed them, and his friend, childhood friend, was sat there, Arooj Shah, and his other friend, Shahid Mushtaq, was sat there, and they have all been exposed. The entire town now knows who these people really are and what they've done.
Yeah.
And he wants to shut you up. Debbie, I'll be honest with you, and add myself to the screen. I understand exactly why you've had to leave. I spoke to the police last week after reporting a crime the week before. I've been accused of being a police informant. They have yet to come and take my statement. They have yet to come and take my statement. Every police officer I know has pressed on me the seriousness of it. And I'll be honest with you, Debbie, and I don't care who hears this, I sleep at night with a knife next to my bed. I know these people are dangerous. I know these people want to kill us.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Unfortunately, you and I, Raja, we've become the brunt of all of this, unfortunately. And I sleep with a lot more at the side of my bed than a knife. I've even taken to sleeping with my dogs. The slightest noise, and where I am now, I'm safe. I'm safe now, which is marvellous. But I was getting inbox messages saying that they was going to come and rape me. They knew where I was. They're going to come and they're going to rape me. I got them messages. At first, you laugh it off because you think, "Oh, it's just an idiot. It's just a troll. It's just an idiot." But actually, when you can't even go and buy a Costa coffee in the ICC centre without somebody recognising you and giving you a look, and you think, I don't know if I'm safe here now.
Well, you're not, are you? You're not safe.
No, I'm not. I'm not safe in Oldham. And the thing is, what frustrates me is a lot of people from all communities support me. They are supporting me and you and what's happening in the town, but they're also and equally scared. It's ridiculous what's happening in Oldham. It's ridiculous that Sean Fielding and Jim McMahon rakes me into the police station under caution.
And you were found no case to answer. And when I was hauled in at the same time, because Debbie Abrahams had done it, it turned out that she'd doctored evidence, and the police have done nothing. Yeah. She doctored evidence, yeah. These people, we now know Debbie, unfortunately, the town now knows the police are controlled by Andy Burnham, the Greater Manchester Mayor, the Police and Crime Commissioner, and Andy Burnham isn't going to allow anything to happen to his boys.
No. Including not going to even interview Sean Fielding for writing to employers of residents stating that I am a far-right criminal racist.
Yeah, so let's be clear. The narrative that Irish IMY was spinning, that began in the council chamber with Saeed Mushtaq, where you said nothing of the sort in any way that could be interpreted as being racist. The consequence of that, or the continuation of that, is Sean Fielding, in his formal capacity as the leader of Oldham Council, writing to employers of people, stating that you are a far-right activist, racist, right? And furthermore, if he's done that to employers and we've got it in writing, how many other people has he said this to? How many other people have the others said this to? It's like a bonfire. It's like a bonfire, Debbie, and what these people are doing is adding fuel to it.
Yeah. Sahir Mushtaq started it in the full council chambers. I made an official complaint about that. No case to answer according to Greater Manchester Police. It's not malicious communication. I've made complaints to Greater Manchester Police regarding Sean Fielding and what he's saying to people about myself. They've come back, haven't they, with no case to answer. It's not misconduct in a public office, and it's not malicious communication.
Oh, come on! Ignore all that. They've not even conducted an investigation.
No,
anyone can.
And the same with regarding Mr. IMY. That is not racist. That is not malicious communication. There's no case to answer. Even though Raja, you was very lucky and very successful in getting what he'd said about you, getting him into court. And what he said about you was absolutely atrocious. He's done equally just the same about me, but no case to answer.
Here's a post at the time in the thread to do with you, and I'll put it up. Here you can see a man called Jeff Travis. Jeff Travis apparently works for a charity. Yeah, he was on, and you can see bonfire night soon. Think Raja Mir would be a good candidate to be on top of it.
Yeah.
And look who's engaging with him straight away. Yeah, these people are dangerous. They whip each other up, and they're dangerous, Debbie.
He shared my face and my home with 18 Islamic groups that I'm aware of regarding Facebook. And that's not saying where else he shared my face.
Well, I'm just looking at these. I'm looking at these posts. I'll put the next one up for you to see. He's clearly considering being a candidate, but because he's a convicted heroin dealer, he's not allowed. So, in a couple of years I could, but to be honest, mate, I don't. I get more done as I am. He reckons. Imi, can't you stand? Was the question. In a couple of years I could. So people of Oldham, you know what you're going to have? You're going to have the COVID queen on one side, and you're going to have a convicted heroin dealer on the other side. And overseeing all of it, you'll have Jim McMahon, the MP. Debbie, move on. You've got Proud of Oldham, you've got the group, you've got elections coming up, so you've still got a role, haven't you? You're going to do something, because you're not going to stand now. You can't stand from where you're living, can you?
No, unfortunately, because the rules are, because I did look up the rules before I made the final decision, and it did say that so long as you've lived in the area up to 12 months before the elections, you can still stand as a candidate. So I was definitely still standing as a candidate, even though I've moved out of the area and I'm now in a safe area. But unfortunately, no, that's changed. That's not the case. You've got to have physically lived within in the area for definitely
Okay,
3
so
months.
so you're not standing, Debbie. It's a good decision. I'll be honest with you. It's a, as a friend, right? Yes, yeah, we need you alive, Debbie.
Yeah, thanks.
Right, it's as simple as that. These people will firebomb your house, Debbie. They won't think twice. Yeah, they'll kill your dogs. They wouldn't think twice. These are people that have kidnapped and tortured young boys, young men, and the police turned up and found blood splattered over the wall. That's who these people are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Debbie, what are you going to do with Proud of Oldham? What's your role going to be?
I'm going to be the campaign manager for the candidates. I'm going to be the online campaign manager. I'm going to be very active. I'm going to be supporting every candidate that's going to stand for Proud of Oldham, and everybody that's going to stand as an independent, which they all are. I'm supporting each and every one of them, and I'm going to be a candidate supporting campaign manager.
So we've got to take out. This is a plea. This is my plea to the people of Oldham. Every one of you who've looked at us and followed us and supported us, this is my plea. If you know anyone in Failsworth West, pick up the phone and speak to them. If you live in Failsworth West, vote and speak to everyone else you know. We need to defeat Sean Fielding. We need to take out one of the heads of the snake. And one of the heads of the snake, the Labour Party snake in this town, is Councillor Sean Fielding. We need to beat him at the ballot box because we're not criminals. We don't advocate violence on other people. We believe in democracy. And in a democratic society, we can beat these people. There are no cartels in Failsworth. We can take Sean Fielding out. Now, you don't know this, Debbie, but I still have informants. And actually, informants is the wrong word. I have friends in the Labour Party who are appalled by what's taking place in Oldham. Did you know, so you're going to be the campaign manager for Proud of Oldham and Saddleworth. The Failsworth Independents, Mark, Andy and Kath and the others are just a band of community activists who are going for it, yeah?
Yeah.
The Labour Party is bringing into Failsworth a campaign manager from head office. They know Sean Fielding is at risk and they're bringing in the heavyweights to support Sean Fielding.
Really?
Yeah, from head office, they're bringing in the heavyweights.
Well, I'll be supporting Mark Wilkinson. I'll be supporting him all the way. As soon as this lockdown's over, I will be back in Oldham, and I will be supporting them. And I will be, if we can deliver flyers, I'll be doing that. If we can knock on doors, I'll be doing that. I know that I do have a lot of supporters. I know that I have a lot of supporters in Failsworth, and I'm asking each and every one of you to please start talking to your neighbours. Please start, your neighbour across your road that you don't really, you've not spoke to and what have you. Open up a dialogue. They need to understand what's going on in this
People need to know. The vast majority of people, unfortunately, in this town do not know of us, do not follow the Recusant 9 platform, aren't on Facebook the way we are on social media. But this space has created, an environment where we can share with. It's why they want to close us down, because they're scared of what we're doing. But please, people, what you now have, you've got to speak to your neighbours, you've got to speak to your friends, you've got to speak to your family, you've got to speak to your colleagues. Everyone now knows who the barefaced liars are. Everyone now knows who the racists are. Everyone knows. And we've got to take them out. We've got to take them out.
Yeah, for
Debbie,
sure.
Over to you. Before I finish, I'm going to put you back on the screen full. Just give me 1 second. Here you go. All yours, Debbie.
I just wanted to say, Raja, thank you very much for all the support actually that you've given me. I mean, I know I support you and you support me, and we have made a huge impact in Oldham, and I will continue to make a huge impact to the best I can. Do you know what? I can still go and protest outside Sean Fielding's house, and that's not off the cards. I can still do that, and I'm an Oldham girl. I'm an Oldham born and bred, and once we get this town sorted, which we will do, I can come back.
Debbie?
I just need people of Oldham now to please get them out.
Debbie, good night. Take care. Thank you.
Nah, love you.
Do not fear them. Do not fear any of them.